The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Conoco Phillips, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 42076. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Starting first down at the front bumper area, you'll find the 2 outriggers located on the passenger and driver's side front. Located in the face of the front bumper, you'll find dual air horns. Located directly in the center is your electronic siren and PA speaker. Let's move up onto the cab, where you'll find on the outer edge a marker turn indicator light. Also, just inside that location is the headlight structure housing low and high beam headlights. Moving up to the top section of the emergency light cluster, you'll find 4 facing emergency warning lights. Moving to the seamless one-piece windshield, you'll find 3 windshield wipers. As we move to the outer edge of the A-pillar, you'll find your mirror housing a flat and convex mirror. On the officer cab roof, you'll find a downward-facing convex mirror for your driver. Moving now up onto the brow of the apparatus, you'll find 5 identification clearance lights, and located in the center, you'll find your forward-facing floodlight. Moving up onto the roof of the apparatus, you'll find your emergency warning light bar. Let's go ahead and take a look at some images of the vehicle, first starting with a full view image of the side of the vehicle from the driver's perspective. We'll focus in now onto the cab section area. Moving into the midsection or pump panel area. And then into the aerial body side. We'll move around now to the rear of the apparatus. And then we'll do the same onto the passenger side. Full view. Moving now into the body section. Then we'll move into the midsection or pump area. And then onto the cab section next. We'll go ahead and get started with a few items within your vehicle, identifying those. First, starting with your front door logo, and then moving inside to the cab area, we'll start with the door panel. Affixed to the door panel are safety and warning placard information. Door lock and latch combination is just up from that location, and then all 4 window controls are located on the driver's side, along with a grab handle. Let's go ahead and move inside the cab area next. We'll identify a few items there. First, starting into the stepwell area. As you move into the stepwell, you'll find in the forward section an air inlet. This is for maintaining brake pressure. Also, as we move into the cab, you'll find this yellow placard indicating the date of manufacture, 5-digit job number, gross vehicle weight rating, cold tire inflation, VIN number, all of your fluid capacities for each component, fluid capacity, and also fluid type. As we move to the left knee of the operator forward section, you'll find your master battery switch. It is a quarter turn. Next to it, you'll find the tech module and engine transmission ABS diagnostic port, along with an ABS, DPF regen, engine diagnostic, and regen inhibit switch. To the right, a display module port for your maintenance team. Just up from this, you'll find the interaxle differential lock with an indicator indicating it's on. On the opposite side of the steering column, you'll find your pump shift. There are instructions from road to pump and also from pump to road. Just as a reminder, for firefighting pump operations, you'll need 2 green indicators, pump engaged and OK to pump illuminating for pump operations before exiting the cab. Also to the right, flat mirror control and convex mirror control. As we move to the dash itself, steering wheel, you'll find your vehicle is equipped with the supplemental restraint system airbag bolster in the steering column. You'll also find electronic controls here for windshield wiper, headlight control. As we move to the dash itself, you'll find your start ignition switch on the far left-hand side of the dash. Also switches for EM, which stands for Emergency Master. This will engage or disengage all emergency lights with one button. Also your headlight switch. To the right, panel switch for allowing you to brighten or dim lights within preview of the operator's dash. To the right, OK to engage the high idle switch and indicator. As we move to the dash cluster, you'll find your transmission, def level, oil temp, and water temp on the left-hand side cluster. On the right, volts, fuel, front air, and rear air. In the center, your tachometer and speedometer. Diagnostic information displays above and also below the tachometer and speedometer, with digital information being displayed in the center below the tachometer and speedometer. Let's move just to the right of the steering cluster. As we move to the right, you'll find your vehicle is equipped with a display screen. A tremendous amount of information is accessible through this. It is a touchscreen and also function button. To the right of that location, you'll find 12-volt access. This is barrel style. Moving just to the right, you'll find your engine brake on and off, settings for low, medium, and high, mirror heat, and then off-road traction. Moving down just to the left, you'll find the yellow diamond, which is your pull to apply or system parking brake and push to release. These are the rear spring brakes. Moving to the right, Allison transmission pad, digital readout, push button, informational note to pump in drive. We also have some caution and warning placard information. They're located here next to the transmission area. First, disengage your retarder when on wet or slippery surfaces, and always engage the parking brake when the engine is running for your front wheel lock. As we move to the right, you'll find your climate control for heat, air conditioning, and defrost. Also additional switches here. This is going to be your aerial master, stabilizer cameras, and diff lock. Moving to the right, additional 12-volt access via barrel style, USB-A, and USB-C. As we move to the very top section over the driver's head, you'll find this yellow placard indicating the height of the vehicle. 11 feet 2 inches, length 43 feet 3.5 inches, and a gross vehicle weight rating 76,640 pounds. Also, you'll find switches here for emergency lights, emergency master, roof light, front warning, side warning, lower rear warning, upper rear warning, high beam, and air horn. To the right, you'll find your driver's side cab scene, front scene, passenger side cab scene, load manager, driver's side body scene, rear scene, passenger side body scene, and also running lights. As a reminder, when the switch is activated, the light will illuminate green around the outer edge, indicating it's on. As we move further to the right, you'll find your siren control and PA speaker. Moving in the center area, you'll find a warning, do not move your apparatus if this light is flashing. It's indicating you have a compartment or door open. Also, as we look just forward of that location, you'll find seatbelt information, red indicating someone is in the seat and not belted, green, they're in the seat and belted. Just forward of that location through the windshield area is where you're going to find the HOS system, your traffic avoidance information. As we move to the rear, general view, we have 2 forward-facing seats that house SCBA brackets and then also 2 rear-facing seats. Behind the driver's seat, you'll find the lever here for your manual cab tilt. And then also when plugged into Shoreline Power, you have your auto charge system. That's for battery status. As you move to the exterior, Shoreline inlet, this is for battery status, and also information here will display for that battery status when plugged into Shoreline Power. To the right, we have an additional auto eject. This is your engine heater. Moving down to the front axle, where you'll find your vehicle's equipped with TAC4 independent front suspension, Michelin tires. Let's move now into the rear portion of the cab area. We'll start first with the cab door, and on that door panel you'll find safety and warning placard information. Just above that you'll find electric window control, door lock and latch, and a grab handle. As we move into the cab, on the ceiling area you'll find push on and off red or white lens lights. Also general view into the rear cab section, 2 forward, 2 rear facing seats. As we move into the center section between the 2 rear-facing seats, lift and turn latch gains you access for your daily checks for oil and transmission. Let's move out to the body section and pump panel area. Just above the pump panel on the forward section is where you'll find the crosslays. There are 2 located here, crosslay 1 and crosslay 2. Just as a reminder, Because of the cross lay, there is the possibility of entanglement from those lines coming from aloft, so we've added an additional warning placard indicating that entanglement hazard. Let's go ahead and identify some of the things within the pump panel area. First, we'll start with your pressure throttle governor located on the far left. As we move into the gray module, you'll find the master intake gauge and also master discharge gauge. In between the two of those gauges are the test gauge ports. They are currently plugged, and these are utilized for pump testing purposes. Let's move downward on the pump panel to the left-hand side where you'll find a black speaker. The outer edge of that bezel does rotate for increasing or decreasing sound. Right next to it is the water tank level indicator. We also have two wheel gauges located here. First, large diameter passenger side discharge, and then in the pink color we have the aerial discharge. As we move to the very far right, you'll find the tank fill and recirculating line, and then just below that is the tank to pump. Let's go ahead and move just to the left of this location where you'll find our discharges. They are color coded and labeled, in addition with a foam label indicating red for foam. This is that speaker I was referencing earlier. Outer edge of the bezel does rotate. As we move down, you'll find the minimum operation maintenance schedule for test pressures at 150, 200, and 250 psi. Also a warning placard indicating pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. As we move to the right, you'll find the foam system instructions for the Husky 12 and also the foam system specifications, along with a foam level indicator for tank B. As we move down, the Pierce logo American flag eagle. This is your large diameter pump inlet. Moving down to the lower left corner, you're going to find a warning placard indicating do not mix different brands or consistencies of foam for the possibility of foam failure, and then also the pump lubrication per Darley specifications placard. As we move to the right, driver's side auxiliary inlet, locally controlled via ball valve, 2.5-inch female. Further to the right, you'll find driver 1 and driver 3 2.5-inch discharges. As we move up from this location, you'll find your Husky foam system module, and then to the right you'll find the fire pump primer. It is a push to prime air prime for best practices at least 1000 RPM when engaging the fire pump primer. Let's continue on with the pump panel information. As we move down to the lower left-hand corner, this is your auxiliary foam functions for inlet, strainer, and also drain. To the right, you'll find the number 2 crosslay drain, and then also a warning placard here indicating danger. The aerial apparatus is not insulated, and this is an electrocution hazard regarding that non-insulated ladder. As we move further to the right, you'll find your Darley placard indicating test pressures for 150, 200, and 250 psi, your main pump drain, and then just below that, the manual pump shift. And along at the very bottom section, you'll find all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. Moving further under the running board areas where you'll find your foam pump discharge drain. Just to the right of that is the pull-out and fold-out step area. This is tied to the do not move your apparatus. As we move to the pump panel area, you'll find panel lights, additional scene lights, an OK to pump indicator light, and then also an air horn push button. You're also going to find some warning placards here. First warning is only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment, and that's only after you received proper training. Also an additional warning placard located in the lower section here for fall warning. Always face the vehicle when climbing on or off the vehicle. Let's move into some of the compartments now. First, starting with the access ladder. When the ladder is down, it reveals that you have an additional panel directly behind that. This is for additional maintenance and also access for visibility. Let's move now to the first compartment. This is where you're going to find all of our overrides are located here. They are also color-coded and labeled. They also operate the stabilizers and the aerial device. As we look to the door panel itself, there's some additional warning placard. First, information here regarding short jacking for ladder tip over. Also that there is extremely high hydraulic pressure involved behind the compartments. That's a danger placard indicating for that. And then once again, a placard down the lower section that only trained personnel should operate the piece of equipment. As we look to the colors, we're going to find gray for operation of the aerial device, As we move further down, you're going to find the green and blue are for operation of the stabilizer jacks. As we move to the stabilizer area directly over it, you'll find a side-facing camera. Also a warning here regarding crush hazard. Because of the movement of the stabilizer, there is the possibility of injury. As we move into the compartments, you'll find a pull-out tray located here. Release is located on the right-hand side. You'll also find on the rear portion of the pan door, you're going to find the Ascendant Aerial Tower load chart for a wind of 35 miles an hour at 2000 GPM waterway. We have a water weight dry placard indicating for weight capabilities and also water weight charged weight capabilities. As we move further down, you'll find nozzle positions for your monitor. And then also an important factor is down in the lower section is asterisk information. This would be helpful for you for freezing temperatures. Some additional warning placard information here regarding electrocution hazard. Let's move into the compartment now, where you'll find on the vertical wall the radio controlled enabled switch along with a green indicator when it's on and the module to the rear of that switch. Also, you'll find a tray pulls out. The release mechanism and lock are located on the right hand side. As we move just to the front of the rear axle, you'll find this pan door access here for the blue def cap fill location, which is a 4.5 def tank. Your vehicle is equipped with a T3 rear end for rear steer. Also, as we looked at the very top section, you'll find your logo placard information. Also, we have two overwheel compartments that both house, pull out, and tilt downward trays. In between the axles, you'll find SCBA bottle storage for 3 bottles with retaining straps. Also a single bottle and also fill location for your ultra low sulfur diesel fill, which is the silver cap. Moving toward the rear of the apparatus, additional compartment, we have 2 trays. First upper portion is a pull out and tilt downward. At the rear wall, you'll find shoreline outlet. When plugged into shoreline, this outlet will become active. Moving on now to the rear compartment. In this compartment, this is a stabilizer. In this stabilizer cover, just a warning placard here indicating movement of that stabilizer is the possibility of crush injury. As we move around to the angled side, you'll find your access ladders located here. Taking a quick look up to the bucket area, you're going to find 2 adjustable lights in the top section, master stream device down in the center area, and also your master stream device has a 2.5-inch locally controlled discharge. Let's take a look at the ladder storage location. First, we'll start with emergency warning light, brake, turn, and reverse light. You'll also find an inclinometer down in the lower portion. Just above that, you'll find tow hooks located here. These are direct pull, and we do have a warning placard indicating on that for direct pull. Moving further up, we have some additional warning placards here. This is a warning regarding never riding on the vehicle while it's in motion. And then also a warning placard here when climbing on or off the vehicle, always face the vehicle. Additional warning here for danger regarding electrocution hazard. Just as a reminder, the ladder itself is not insulated. And then also an entanglement hazard in the upper right-hand corner because of the hose trough. Because of that line coming out, there's the possibility of entanglement. There's your backup camera located here. As we move further down, you'll find an emergency stop with an indicator light, a protected override switch, and then also a stabilizer enabled switch. As we move further down, you're going to find a remote. It is tethered. This is all of your stabilizer control module. As we move to the rear portion of the pan door, you'll find some additional warning information here regarding aerial stability hazard, regarding short jacking and operating the aerial device, and then also a caution when storing the actual stabilizers. Ensure that all the pads are properly fitted for their location. We're going to now move through the rest of the rear of the apparatus, additional storage down in the lower portion as we move up for ground ladder storage. We have additional ground ladder storage and pike pole storage located at the rear here. 35-foot 2-section, 28 2-section, 20-foot roof, and a 10-foot folding. Also, as we move up to the very top, this is your hose chute for your supply line. Moving down to the rear, once again, warning regarding entanglement hazard, and then also warning regarding fall and electrocution hazard. Let's move around now to the passenger side of the vehicle. We'll start at the very rear. We have a 4-drawer tool or storage location here. Here the compartments open. In this same compartment in the very top section, when plugged into shoreline power, this outlet once again will be active. Moving forward now on the body, we're going to find our stabilizer jack. Once again, warning here regarding crush injury hazard because of the movement of that stabilizer. We have a shelf and also a pull-out tray located in the lower section, and also shoreline outlet power in this compartment. Once again, moving forward from this location, we're going to find our T3 rear end, and then we have our overwheel compartments. Let's take a look here in the overwheel compartment. We have a pull-out and tilt downward tray, and then SCBA bottle storage, single bottle storage to the rear, and then 3 bottle storage in the location between the 2 axles. Let's move to the front of the rear axle, where you'll find a warning placard here regarding diesel exhaust. Extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures do exist, especially during regen. Be cautious where you park your vehicle. As we move forward, once again, a pull-out tray and a shelf located in this compartment. Release mechanism for that tray is located on the lower right-hand side. As we move to the overwheel stabilizer here, we have an additional camera for location of that, and also a warning placard here regarding crush injury hazard. As we move just to the right, you'll find your aerial ladder hydraulic reservoir. This is the sight gauge for that reservoir. Close up here of that image. We're into the next compartment. As we look to the very rear wall of this compartment, this is where you're going to find the module for your cab lift. There are instructions for its operation for raise and lower, also some danger and warning placard. We're now into the pump panel area. Remember, we started at this on the opposite side with the cross lays. There are 2 located in the upper section. As we move out into the pump panel area, just a couple reminders regarding warning entanglement hazard because of those cross lays. As we move down, we do have an additional pan door located on this side. Let's take a look behind the pan door in the next set of images. Aerial discharge gauge, and then also warning here regarding pressure hazard. Once again, caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. Let's go ahead and take a look inside the pan door behind the pump panel here. This is where you're going to find the water strainer. And then let's move back out to the pump panel itself. We'll identify a few items here. Once again, pressure hazard. And then as we move forward to that location, you'll find the American flag Eagle Pierce logo. That's the large diameter discharge. And then just underneath the warning hazard, this is your large diameter discharge. Additional pan door for gaining access into the lower portion of the pump panel. And then forward to this location, you're going to find a 2.5-inch auxiliary inlet, locally controlled via ball valve, female. Across the bottom, all of our color-coded and labeled drains. As we move now into the cab section again, we'll start first with the rear portion of the cab affixed to the door panel, safety and warning placard information, door lock, latch, window control, and grab handle. As we move into the cab, 2 forward-facing seats, 2 rear-facing seats. We're now to the front axle, where you're going to find that independent front suspension, Michelin tires, and then we'll move into the officer space next. Affixed to the door panel, you're going to find warning placard information, door lock and latch, window control, and once again the grab handle. As we move into the officer space, the window directly behind in that previous window showed the airbag locations. Also in this compartment here, we're going to have some additional wiring for spare. It has the option number and type of wiring. We also have a front bolster here for your supplemental restraint system airbag, and then also a warning placard here regarding the mounting of equipment within the area of the airbag. Down in the lower right-hand corner, you'll find the windshield wiper fill location. As we move up overhead, you'll find a map light, and then also some additional push on and off red or white lens lights, and then also access here to all of our cab scene lights and body scene lights. Also, you'll find your AM/FM weather band radio. And then also, as we move into the bucket area, we'll start identifying a few items within this space. Let's first start on the far left-hand side forward section. This is your emergency stop push button. As we move down, we have an aerial speed for either normal or fast switch. And then we have an enable or disable for the manual basket leveling with a switch for either up or down. To the right, you're going to find your monitor system here, touchscreen, and also function button. Also your under basket sensor disable, and then also ladder controls for extend, retract, right and left, lower and raise. Further to the right, you'll find your tip lights and tracking lights. And then further down, you're going to find nozzle control for stream or fog, right and left, raise and lower. Let's take a look around into the bucket area. We'll start first with a few shot in between. On the left is our 2.5-inch locally controlled discharge, and then our monitor. As we move into some warning placard information, let's take a look at the side panel. We have some warning here regarding the life bracket. These are for all three of those devices, and then also your intercom system, speaker, and also volume control. This is passive. As we move down to the very bottom, this is the location where you'll connect your breathing air. Moving just to the rear of the basket area, you're going to find additional storage boxes, one on each side. And then moving back to the placard here in the information, this is your ascendant placard, same placard we saw in the compartment regarding the waterway wet and dry, and then also nozzle position placards. We also have some additional warning here. Just generalized warnings, also danger placard, electrocution hazard, fall restraint required if you're operating with inside the bucket area, tip over hazard regarding short jacking of the aerial device, and then also crush injury because of the movement of just the aerial device itself and the ladder extension. There is the possibility of crush injury. General view of the front section of the bucket area. I'd like to point out that each of these boxes do have weight capacity limits. Just a few shots here of the aerial ladder itself. And then we'll move into the cab section. This is considered a non-walking surface, and therefore we've identified that with some warning placards located here. Moving now on to the pedestal area, let's first start at the very forward section with the intercom system, push-to-talk, and volume control. As we move further back into the control module area, let's start first with the same function buttons, emergency stop, under basket sensor disable. We also have an emergency hydraulic power, aerial speed, aerial manual control, and manual basket leveling disable. Tip lights, tracking lights, and running lights, nozzle control for deploy and stow, stream or fog, right, left, raise, and lower. Just underneath that, you'll find the control module here display. Once again, touchscreen, and then also function buttons in the lower section. At the very bottom, ladder control for extend, retract, right, left, and lower and raise. As we move to the cover itself, we have an additional placard here regarding the load chart for your ascendant ladder. Once again, for waterway dry, waterway charged, it's the same placard, and some additional warning placards similar to the others regarding only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment. When operating in the laddered bucket area, you should have fall protection on. Also crush injury hazard for that, and then also hydraulic high pressure and danger regarding electrocution hazard because the ladder is non-insulated. Let's move on to the other side of the cover, where you'll find some additional generalized warning and then also some danger information placards. Please familiarize yourself with all of the warning danger placards throughout the vehicle. As we continue on, you'll find the Ascendant Aerial Tower specifications for NFPA. We'll go ahead and move through some compartment photos here with all compartments open just for general access. As we move around to the rear of the apparatus, all compartments open. And then we'll take a look at the passenger side with all compartments open. From here, the ladder has been elevated out of its bed, and we'll go ahead and take a look at some things here in the dunnage area. First, starting with the top, you can see the long LED lights located on the side facing. Also, you'll find dunnage space, cradle, and then also a walking space indicated by the yellow aerials for safety. We do have our foam tank and also water tank. The foam tank does have a warning placard indicating do not mix different brands or consistencies of foam. At the base of the ladder, we have an additional access panel located here. This is for access for adding hydraulic oil. The specifications are on the placard itself. As we move now to a few images with the aerial stabilizers deployed, both front, side, and rear. From this point, we have the cab tilted. We'll identify a few items within the engine and chassis area. First, starting underneath, these are the tow hooks for physically towing the vehicle. This is the front stabilizer. You can see the stabilizer has been cocked outward to allow the cab to be tilted. We're into the steering area. As we move into the engine, just as a reminder, when the cab has been fully tilted, please place this bar into position. Once the bar is in position, do not lower the cab onto the safety bar. Maintain equal cylinder pressure on both left and right cylinders. As we move in, once again, vehicle equipped with TAC4 independent suspension. Into the engine area, this is the recovery location for your radiator fluid. The fill location for your radiator is toward the very front passenger right side. You'll also find power steering fluid fill locations. There are two located here. And then also oil fill and check dipstick. And then to the right, you'll have your transmission fill and dipstick. The rest of the images are that of the chassis area. We'll identify a few items as we move through the chassis. As we move along the driver's side frame rail near the battery area, and then just underneath the battery area, you'll find this white container. This is the fill location for the hydraulic tilt. There'll be no additional audio from this point on. Congratulations, Conoco Phillips Alaska, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 42076. If you have any questions, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.